You know, there is a question that haunts pretty much every salesperson I've ever met. It keeps them up at night. It's the question of, why him and not me? You look across the office, and there's that one person who just seems to have the Midas touch. The economy is down. They close a deal. The product has a bug. They still sell it.
Right. And the immediate assumption is usually, what? Magic?
Exactly. Or luck. Or they have the good leads. Or maybe they're just naturally charismatic. But today, we are going to dismantle that myth completely. We're looking at a concept that suggests luck has absolutely nothing to do with it.
That's right. And honestly, it's a bit of a tough pill to swallow for some people. Because if you take luck out of the equation, all you're left with is responsibility.
Ouch. That sounds heavy.
It is heavy, but it's also liberating. We're talking about the law of cause and effect. It sounds like high school physics, but in the world of sales, it is the difference between making a living and building an empire. The core idea is brutally simple. Nothing happens by accident. Every result, whether it's a record-breaking month or a zero-commission month, is an effect. And every effect has a specific cause.
So when I'm sitting there blaming the market or saying clients just aren't buying right now, I'm essentially ignoring the law.
You're falling into a mental trap. Look, it is so easy to say, my price is too high, or my boss doesn't support me. That's a victim mindset. It places the control outside of you. But the professional, the top 1%, they understand that the problem and the solution is always internal. You aren't losing sales because of bad luck. You are losing them because you are sowing the wrong causes.
Sowing causes. I like that imagery. It turns sales into a bit of a farm, doesn't it? You reap what you sow.
Precisely. Or think of it like a laboratory. This is a massive shift in perspective. Imagine your career isn't a roller coaster of good and bad days, but a lab where you are the scientist. If an experiment explodes in your face, you don't cry about how the chemicals hate you. You analyze what you mixed wrong.
That takes the emotion out of it.
Completely. The average salesperson runs on emotion. They wake up, check how they feel, and let that dictate their day. If they feel motivated, they work. If they feel sluggish, they procrastinate. But the law dictates that you have to reverse that. You don't wait for the fire to give you heat. You put the wood in first.
That's a huge point. I think so many of us wait for inspiration to strike before we pick up the phone. We want to feel confident before we dial.
And that is why so many fail. The emotion doesn't precede the action. The action precedes the emotion. You act until you feel good. Every call you make, every email you send, that is a cause. It reprograms your mind. You generate energy by moving, not by sitting and thinking about moving.
It's interesting because this law, cause and effect, it sounds mechanical, but it's actually deeply psychological.
It is, because it hands you back control. You can't control the economy. You can't control the competitor's pricing. You can't even control the client's mood. But you can control what you think, what you say, and what you do. And if you align those causes correctly, the effects, the sales, become inevitable. It's not magic, it's math.
Okay, let's get practical here, because I can hear our listeners thinking, okay, I get the philosophy. I need to take responsibility. But what does sowing the right causes actually look like on a Tuesday morning?
Great question. It's not just about working hard. You can work hard digging a hole in the wrong place and you'll just get a deeper hole. It's about working intelligently. There are a few specific applications of this law that change the game.
Hit us with the first one.
Planning, but not just to-do lists. Most people confuse movement with progress. They answer emails, shuffle papers, and feel busy. But they haven't created any real causes. The application here is the rule of 3. Before you start your day, define the 3 specific actions that will actually move the needle. Not 10, just 3.
Focus creates power.
Exactly. If you scatter your energy, you get scattered results, weak effects. The second application is time management, specifically the 80/20 rule. You have to ruthlessly cut out the noise. If a conversation or a task isn't leading to a sale or a relationship, it's a weak cause. It won't produce the effect you want.
That requires a lot of discipline. It's hard to say no to distractions.
It is, but that's the price of the effect you want. The third one is huge. Follow-up. This is where the law really shows its teeth.
Oh, the dreaded follow-up. Everyone hates being a pest.
See, that's the wrong mindset. Statistics show that 80% of sales happen after the fifth contact, but most people quit after one or two. If you stop planting seeds, how can you expect to harvest? The cause of the sale isn't usually the first pitch, it's the persistence. Every follow-up is a new cause. It might be the one that tips the scale.
So, you're stacking causes. One call isn't enough, so you add an email, then a text, then a value add. You're building up the weight on the cause side until the effect has to happen.
That is a brilliant way to put it. You are stacking the deck in your favor. And there's another layer to this, the internal causes.
Internal? Like mindset?
Yes. Visualization and continuous learning. Your mind is the factory where causes are built. If you don't upgrade your software, read books, take courses, analyze your calls, your output will never improve. You can't solve today's problems with yesterday's skills. And visualization. Look, the brain doesn't know the difference between a real event and a vivid imagination. If you visualize yourself closing the deal with confidence, you are planting a mental cause. When you get to the meeting, you've already been there.
It's like mental rehearsal for athletes.
Exactly the same mechanism. But here is the most critical application, the one that ties it all together, the daily review.
This goes back to the scientist in the lab metaphor.
Yes. At the end of the day, you have to look at your results without judgment. Don't beat yourself up. Just ask, what causes did I set in motion today? Did they bring me closer to my goal or push me away? If you do this honestly, you stop being a victim of your results and start becoming the architect of them.
I love that. It turns failure into data. It's not, I'm a loser. It's, my strategy was off.
Precisely. And this brings us to the deeper, almost philosophical side of this law. It's not just about money. It's about who you become. You see, there is no neutrality in life. You are either creating momentum or losing it. You are either sowing value or wasting potential.
That's a scary thought. There's no standing still.
No, there isn't. And here is the hardest part for people to accept, the delay.
The delay?
Between the cause and the effect, you can plant a seed today, water it tomorrow, and see nothing. You can do everything right for a week and see zero results. This is where most people quit. They say, I tried, it didn't work.
Right. I made 50 calls and nobody bought. So this system is broken.
But the law is never broken. The delay is the test. It's testing your commitment. Are you doing it for the quick hit? Or are you building something real? The harvest always comes, but it comes on its own schedule, not yours. Your job is to keep sowing when you don't see the sprout yet.
That requires a lot of faith. Not religious faith, but faith in the process.
Faith in the law. If you drop a ball, it falls. Gravity doesn't take a day off. Cause and effect doesn't take a day off. If you keep refining your pitch, keep adding value, keep showing up with energy, the result is mathematically inevitable.
I think that's what separates the pros from the amateurs. The amateurs need the instant gratification. The pros are playing the long game.
The pros know that success isn't a mystery. It's a consequence. That's the word I want people to remember. Consequence. Your bank account is a consequence. Your reputation is a consequence. If you don't like the effect, don't yell at the effect. Change the cause.
It really puts the power back in your hands. But it also takes away all your excuses. You can't blame the economy anymore.
And that's why it's uncomfortable. But it's the good kind of discomfort. It's the discomfort of growth. When you realize, I am the cause of my results, you stop waiting for a savior. You stop waiting for the market to get easier. You realize that you can simply get better.
So, as we wrap this up, if someone is listening to this right now, maybe they're in their car, driving to a sales appointment, or maybe they're sitting at their desk feeling stuck, what is the one thing they need to do right now?
They need to ask themselves one question, not, why aren't I selling? That's a victim question. They need to ask, what cause can I improve right now? Maybe it's making 5 more calls. Maybe it's listening to a training audio instead of the radio. Maybe it's just fixing their posture and walking into that meeting with absolute certainty.
Just one better cause.
Just one. And then repeat it tomorrow and the day after. Because success belongs to the person who keeps sowing when everyone else has stopped.
That is powerful. It really shifts the view from hunting for sales to farming for success. You prepare the soil, you plant the seed, you water it, and the crop comes.
It always comes. The universe responds to what you give it. If you give effort, discipline, and value, it has no choice but to give you success in return.
Well, there you have it. You are not at the mercy of the world. You are the engine. You are the cause.
Be the cause and enjoy the effect.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Now, go out there and start planting. We'll catch you on the next one.